It's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, it's good to be back with you. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. That's right. We're on the air and everywhere in Southern California, from the community to the world. It's good to be on a fresh Maniac Monday. The weather is finally changing here in Southern California. A little bit overcast, kind of cooler. It's at 85 degrees if you think that's cooler. It is. It was over 100 just the other day. So last week was like killer, but we're kind of getting into winter a little bit. I think there's like a 10% chance of rain or something along that line. So, hey, right on. I like it when changes of the weather happen here in Southern California. We don't get too much of it. It is not dynamic like we were just talking off the mic here and off camera about Chicago, where I was born. I mean, the reason why they have such great population born in the summertime in Chicago, because everybody's making babies and knocking some boots in the wintertime in Chicago, that's for sure. Those cold states make a lot of children in the wintertime. Oh, they're busy in the summertime. They are. But here in Southern California, we're doing our thing here as we set things up and get it going. It is a Monday. Hey, 5 to 6, ready every Monday and through Friday, the Jesse T Show. It's good to have you back. What a weekend I've had. We'll be talking about that all weekend long up there at the Spartan Race, a Big Bear Beast, 13 miles, 25 to 30 obstacles. I was in the water. I was hanging from monkey bars. I was hanging from ropes. I was everywhere. It was unbelievable, the fun that I had up there. I must have went up and down that Big Bear Snow Summit 47,000 million times. You talk about having to get in shape just to cover something. A lot of fun, but also we had some great stories to talk about then. It's good to follow Greg Bell today because, of course, Greg Bell has the sports show, the Legends Show, and he's on, I believe it's every Monday he's on, right before us here on the Jesse T Show at www.thepowerofvoices.com. Also, we are on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, and we are also on Facebook.com/The Power of Voices. So it's good to have you along there with us, as well as YouTube for The Power of Voices and Jesse Terrero. So it's good to, kind of share all the places: LinkedIn, Tumblr, Twitter, Periscope, Livestream, and 3 other Facebook sites, and Google Plus, and it on and on and on and on. And for our radio feed, it is, of course, located at www.thepowerofvoices.com. Lee, I'm going to move Marcus here to my right a little closer together on the cameras so that I can get his handsome face. You're right, Lee. He is handsome. He's a handsome guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, $25. I get a handshake. I want $25.
I'll give the 25 when we on the break.
Okay. Well, when I get you hooked up in the NFL,
Perfect.
You see, I'm making my deals already. What can I tell you? That's right. Absolutely. So, look, we got Marcus Peterson right here. What's up, Marcus?
How's it going? Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
This guy's a great athlete. He's an up-and-comer. He's playing ball professionally, and he's got an MBA. We're going to get into his career in just a second. We made a really nice contact for you before, though.
Yes.
With Greg Bell.
Greg Bell, yeah.
It was really I didn't set that up because it's ironic because I realized when I got here, I got a sports guy coming in, and there's a sports guy that played 10 to 12 years in the NFL, and a football guy, and he's a football guy primarily first.
Offensively as well.
Yeah, offensively. So, I mean, what a great marriage. I like that. Kind of something,
That's how life works. I appreciate that.
Well, we'll see when you get that NFL contract how much you appreciate it, man. And, I want some gratuity. I just don't want to come over and do your dishes, okay?
Okay.
All right?
I promise that.
Okay,
I promise you that.
All right, we're going to talk to Marcus here in just a second. I do want to welcome everybody to the show. We got a big week in store. We've got some great directors coming in. Michael Baumgarten's going to be here. Also, a great Krav Maga master, grandmaster, and director and actor. Jacob Bressler is going to be checking in here today or this week. And we got Wound Up with the crew. And let me see what else we got going on. We got Road Tripping with Dan the Man. Man and the Road Dog King at the end of the week. So we've got a great week in store for you here on the Jesse T Show. So I was introduced to Marcus to my right here by a mutual friend, and he said, you got to talk to this young man because he's really got it going on. He's not only a handsome fella, which you are, very handsome,
Thank you.
But he's also very smart and intelligent. So you see, it's just not beauty. You got some brains, man.
It all coincides.
You know, I kind of like that. You know, I mean, a lot of people have beauty, but they ain't got no brains.
Or opposite.
Or they got brains and ain't got no beauty. There's a lot of people like that running around.
It is.
Absolutely. So, but to top it off, he is a NFL prospect.
Correct.
He's been going out and trying out. And we're going to talk about that because I'm fascinated with that, on that process. And how do you go from, high school to college to become a prospect? And you played professionally already
Yes, sir.
in Europe. So that's kind of cool to talk about. I didn't realize that football was so huge in places like Germany and stuff. So we got that to talk about. And also you have, I guess, an entertainment career popping up and starting now.
Yes. It's all... 2017 has been a great year so far, and I'm really looking forward to 18.
It's going to be a good time for you. It's a great time with all these new technologies and stuff that are happening. So let's just jump right into it. Now,
Perfect.
Years ago, I just learned before the show that you went to high school at Pastor Fred Price's school.
Yes, sir.
He's on every Sunday or Saturday morning for since the Dead Sea was alive. The guy's been on TV, right?
Yeah, he's it's always 3 a.m. or early in the morning. His son, I believe, is the pastor now.
Yeah, he's retired.
Yeah.
He, who always used to remind me of? George Jefferson. Remember George Jefferson? Because the way he'd walk around with his shoulders back and his head. I would say, it's George Jefferson. George Jefferson. I would always say that because hey, baby, move on up to the east side.
Yeah.
Right? He always
He
reminded
kind
me.
of has that resemblance.
And the cockiness.
Yeah.
And he great.
walk,
That walk. That's with the shoulders back and
Chin up.
Shoulders
up.
Yeah. I remember when I was at K-Day on the air, one of the many stations, but the station that we were there for the longest, playing all the hip hop music and dance music when it first came around in the 80s. But we played a certain amount of those Sunday religious programs, spiritual programs, and we went from Louis Farrakhan to Fred Price. I mean, we were all over we just, they got on there on Sundays. That was a Sunday show. But so you went to high school there. Now, I didn't realize they played football there.
Yeah, so it's a really small high school. I got into it because I was bouncing around a lot in middle school. That age from 12 to 14.
Right.
My parents were trying to figure me out. I was trying to figure out my parents in life.
Yeah.
So one of my mom's good friends' children went to, because it's a K through 12 institution. So I went there from them. So I started 9th grade through 12th grade. It's a very small school. We graduate of 25 students. At first, I kind of didn't like because all my friends were at all the big, cool schools, and I had to wear a uniform and things of that nature. But now looking back, all the friends that I made in high school, like we all still hang out. We're all doing good, successful.
Well, that's kind of a rare thing because most of the time when you're in high school or the bigger high schools, like Long Beach Poly where there's thousands and thousands, everybody just splits their own ways after high school.
Yeah, we're still really close to some of us, and 100% graduation rate.
100%.
100%, yeah.
There's
so
something going on good there.
Exactly. So I went there. It's a big at the time, I don't know now, but it was a huge basketball school.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys that I graduated with and before went to the NBA or played overseas. So I remember my year, I graduated in 2010. There was about 7 Division I commits.
Wow.
On one team.
Just from that high school.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were feeding D1s like that.
Yeah, for basketball it really was. And then they had a football program, but I was always bigger.
Were they mostly in basketball? Were they mostly
basketball.
Were they mostly known for their shooting expertise or the height of the players?
It was the height, it was the shooting, it was the ball skill, it was the coaching.
Who was the coach at the time?
His name is Coach Michael Lynch. He is now at LaSalle High School, I believe, in Pasadena.
You're right.
So yeah, he's a like the godfather of Price. He's really good. He takes his students and his players under his wing. So it's not just basketball; it's aspects of life. It's also being a student and being a man.
It's almost a full mentoring program.
It was, but he played no games. There was no messing around. Once you sign that dot that you're going to go there for high school, then it was all 4 pillars.
Well, it's something that you say that because when my son went to St. Francis in La Cunada, Flintridge. He played baseball there.
Okay, but we played St. Francis.
Now he's 22. My son is. So you're a little bit older than he is.
Yeah, so 2-3 years.
Yeah, and so my daughter went to Village Christian.
Okay.
And she's 27 now. She plays pro ball. She's a soccer player.
Nice.
A keeper. And she's been playing pro ball in Europe and in America for about 5 years now, 4 to 5 years. So, but the one thing about private schools that emphasize a spiritual background of some nature, whatever it is, they tend to be much harder on their students, their young students, in terms of snapping them into shape and not pulling any punches, getting right to the point.
Yes. It was very interesting because it felt, let me think of a good word, not militant, but we all kind of came from a Christian background.
Right.
So we weren't really new to it. There were probably some students that were kind of figuring that out, but we all came from a Christian, God-fearing background.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very prestigious on, manners, neatness, accountability. So getting you geared for college in the real world, because you can have all your fun and play around, but once you graduated from high school, then you were a real adult, and they wanted you to gear.
So they want you to have a virtuous life, ethical life, a moral life.
Exactly.
And that helped you into college. But your thing became football at a basketball school. Now, how did that happen?
That happened because it was such a small school that everyone knew which step. Like, if you were going right, the teacher knew you were going right. So all the parents knew each other. So it was just very confined. So, which was good now. So like I talk to my friends nowadays, we're all happy and glad that we went to Price, because we see some of the friends that we had at other schools that kind of didn't pan out the way that they wanted to, or they kind of just didn't take life so seriously.
Right.
So
isn't that odd how that happens? As years go on, let me tell you, my friend, as years go on, you're going to find out that people that you thought or everybody thought were going to be the greatest thing in the world, and people that were the worst thing in the world, that completely flip-flops and goes completely opposite. And you'll see that as time goes on, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Yeah.
The crazy part is all the cool parents. We wish we had the cool parents, but now the ones that had the cool parents wish they had the strict parents.
Yeah.
So that I worked out. But football, it all came apart because my best friend now, when I came into the 9th grade, he was in 11th grade. So, he wanted to recruit players and new people for the team.
Right.
So he was on me day and night, every day. You should play. You have a good size. I was like, oh, I'm here for basketball, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So then my basketball coach, kind of you have that father kind of relationship, like.
Yeah, you do, especially at small schools.
Small schools.
You really have it.
So he told me you should
Private schools, too.
Yeah, exactly. He told me you should really play football. My dad as well. So I said, you know what? I've never really played football.
So you never played football for that?
Never. It was my first time. I played flag when I was 7, but that was pretty much it.
Right.
But I'd watch it on TV, but I was always basketball. Kobe Bryant. That was my favorite. That was my idol. So I wanted to do everything Kobe did.
Well, basketball is an easier game for kids to play. All they need is a basketball. They don't even have to have a basket. You could pretend there's a basket on the wall.
I do that all the time. Being an only child.
And football, you need the gear. You need the field. You need other participation, no matter what it is. So
you need the brotherhood.
Yeah, you need to have that. That's why basketball has become so popular over the last 40, 50 years, especially in the big cities.
Yes.
Because anybody can pick up a ball and start pretending.
It can be therapy to some.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in middle school, I was at a good age. But as I was getting into high school, everyone was skyrocketing. 6'8". We have players on our team that was like 6'5", 6'8", 6'11". And me standing at 5'11", I was like, okay, well, maybe I should play football.
Unless you could jump like Henry Bibby could jump.
Yeah.
Like 97 feet.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So I got good at it. I liked it. Just being an athlete, I played a multitude of sports growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it. And actually, I had a losing record my 9th, 10th, 11th grade because we had just different coaches, and I kind of wasn't mixing with the coaches with his philosophy.
Right.
So I really started to hate the game of football.
Oh yeah.
But one of the assistant coaches, which is a good father figure and also a good coach at the time, he was on me that whole summer going into my senior year, coming to our houses, making sure that we played, because it was more than just a game of football. It was a brotherhood. It was taught us discipline. It taught us responsibility, accountability. So, I prayed about it and I thought about it, and I remember telling myself in the kitchen, I said, I feel like this decision could really change my life. I remember telling my dad.
Did it?
And it really did. So I decided to play. And not only did I have a great senior year, I fell in love with it because my best friend, that's all he did was football.
Right.
So when you're hanging out with someone all day and night, that's kind of your love and passion too. So I was able to get a scholarship and go off to school in Kansas.
Now,
So
what was
really
that
good.
like going from Los Angeles to Kansas? Now, Kansas is a big city, but it's not L.A. It's cold in the winter,
Oh,
and
God. And it's hot.
and it's hot and
In the summer.
humid. It's
In the
really
summer.
hot, and it's a different kind of heat, isn't it?
Yes.
And not only thing about Kansas is that the things that we just mentioned, but it also still kind of is a Western country bumpkin town.
It is.
in a lot of ways.
It's crazy because I first went in April when I was getting recruited to go, because you have to go see the school.
Right.
Being in Los Angeles my whole life, that's what I was immune to. That's all I knew.
Right.
Got off the plane, and I went to the
I love
school.
the way these guys start the story. I got off the plane.
Yeah,
It's
I got
the
off
same
the plane,
way,
went to
yes.
the school, and I'm looking at my parents like, I don't know. This is way too cold. I'm used to having shorts and like a hoodie, but this is Jesus Christ. And I'm looking at the players, and it's freezing outside,
Yeah.
and they have on like it's not even cold.
T-shirts,
outside.
right?
T-shirts and no shirts. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, they got frost under their arms.
Yeah.
Right? But they're fine.
They're just chilling, playing football, and everyone was so big, like they
yeah.
were way much bigger. So I'm like, oh Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
there's a huge difference. So I went because two of my other teammates and also friends went with me as well. One played defense, another played receiver as well. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be perfect. We get away from our parents. It's a brand new start. It was really because we just wanted to get away from our parents. We wanted to do a brand new
Right.
start.
I sent my daughter, she was recruited heavily out of college. 31 D1 schools wanted her for women's soccer as a keeper. So she got off the plane in Florida.
Ooh.
All the Florida schools wanted her, but we were down at the University of Miami, and we got off on the recruiting trip there. We got off the plane, and the humidity hit her like the cold hit you. The humidity of Florida hit her, and she looked at me and she said, "Daddy, I'm not going here." And I said, they have alligators in all the fresh water down here too, so you can't go in the fresh water. She goes, "I'm not going here." So same kind of experience.
It's literally, it was times where, because LA, it's like last week is October. It was like 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
This time in Kansas, no chance. It always get freezing cold the day of Halloween. I'll never forget that.
Like clockwork.
Clockwork. The
Yeah.
day of Halloween, that's when winter really, really, really started.
Now, did they have an indoor arena then, or were they playing outdoors
No, they
still?
didn't. So we played outdoor. We
Right.
played outdoor. And it was really cold. And that wasn't even the worst part. I remember spring ball. So spring ball started after Christmas, after New Year's, till about mid-March. The end of March, the beginning of April. And waking up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, having to go from either our apartments or our dorms to the gym was hell in its own. It was like we had to really get prepared.
That was only a 10-foot walk.
We had to get jackets,
Oh,
boots.
Oh, man.
Oh man, it was literally. I didn't understand how people were able to
Live there.
like grow up. Like I was always amazed at what do
Well,
you do as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, you're just down kind of southwest from Chicago.
Yes.
I mean, you're a rock throw from Chicago when you're in Kansas City, so you still get that Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, that North Pole freeze. It's freezy ice. It's not
Yes.
snowy. It's not snow, is
And
it?
I remember the first time driving in it as well. My friend was driving, and we were just drifting the whole time. And it was so scary. It was a lot of things when they had deers. It was just mind blowing of the 180 difference from Los Angeles to the
Right.
Midwest.
Now you didn't stay there long though. Only for a
No,
couple
so
years.
I was there for a year. What kept happening as my football career started, my freshman year in high school, that coach got fired. We had another coach, so I kept having coach replacements. So when I got
that's horrible to an athlete.
school in Kansas, that coach got replaced for
Yeah.
another coach.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, well, this must be a curse.
Yeah.
So then that coach really didn't, he didn't really like me. So
He wanted that scholarship money.
yeah,
That's what he wanted.
it was ridiculous. But then a lot of my friends transferred.
Yeah.
So my best friend, who started me playing football in high school, he went from Oregon to Utah to school in Pittsburgh. So
All right.
I'm like, okay, well, it would be fun so it was about 5 or 6 of us from Los Angeles came out to the same school. So I'm like, oh, well, this is just going to be perfect. We're just going to have fun and enjoy
Right.
it. So I was like, I'm going
Right.
to transfer. I
Right.
wanted to spend because it was redshirt freshman year
Right.
with my best friend his
Right.
senior year.
Well, you must be a glutton for punishment because you go from Kansas. Pittsburgh isn't
It's
that
colder.
It's colder in
It's
Pittsburgh.
colder.
It's a
It's
different
colder.
kind of cold, and it's a dirty cold.
Yeah.
You were you at what you were Division I or NAIA or Division
No, so this
II?
is Division II.
Oh, so you were at Pitt.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's cold there, man.
I remember walking. I had boots on, and the walking is probably about
Yeah.
3 feet of snow.
It's wet
And literally
cold.
having to pick up your knees. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a wet cold, not a frozen cold.
It's a wet cold. And when
Yeah.
it rains and you
Yeah.
have to practice, and I remember one of my teammates got frostbite one time, and he was out for like 5 or 6 weeks
Man, I'll tell
from
you,
running routes. It
on Friday light day with pads and shorts, you guys aren't in shorts. I
oh
don't
my
think so.
God. And trying to catch the ball too. Oh, that was a huge thing too. I remember
frozen
the first
fingers.
time I tried to catch the ball when it was freezing. I said, "Oh my God, I don't know if this is for me or not."
Yeah. Yeah, that stings.
But I stuck with it.
So you stuck there, you got out of Pittsburgh, you graduated, and
Yes, sir.
then what happened?
So here's what happened. So like I said, I was a redshirt sophomore. So he
Uh-huh.
graduated. Everybody else graduated, or
Right.
no, they didn't graduate. Their eligibility of football ran
out.
So they all
You
came
still
back
had 1
home.
year.
No, I still had 3 years.
Yeah,
because I was
okay.
a redshirt freshman.
Okay,
So I still
yeah.
had 3 to 4 years, something like that. So I made new friends, of course, and then they got a new coach because that coach got fired,
Uh-huh.
and that was another
Terrible situation.
episode.
Yeah, right.
That was another season, I'd say.
Right.
So just trying to figure that out. It was many times I wanted to give up because we were just not seeing eye to eye. I don't know
Right.
what, So anyways, that taught me in life that things are not always going to be the way we want it. And we need to sometimes go around or make U-turns or go the long way to get where we need to go.
Wait a minute. That's the story of Jesse T's life. I go around everything to get to where I got to go.
Yeah. So either you got to jump over, go under,
Yeah.
dig a hole. But I was really relentless so I'm an only child. So I have a problem with someone tells me to go left.
I like
I
this
gotta
guy
go right.
already. I'm an only child too,
Oh,
brother.
there
Hey, man, I'm telling you. Yeah, that's right. Only children. We're a weird breed.
So I've always not defiant, but it's just like I'm very curious. So if you
Yeah.
tell me not to go right, then I'm going to be like, why can't I go right? And I
Oh,
go peek
wait a
right.
minute, Lee. That you see, I'm not the only one. Lee always gets me. He goes, "How come you're always?" I said, "It's just me, Jesse
Yeah.
T." Look it, you see, Lee. See, he tell him to go right, he goes left. Right?
I got therapy for both of you.
Sign me up.
Yeah, right.
But
All
I just kind of have my own personality. I'm very outgoing, I wouldn't say scapegoatish, but I just like to be an individual.
Right.
So I didn't give up. So like going into my sophomore year, I got better and better as I was training with one of the top trainers here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I got better and better, and I got more focused because I started training like with NFL players, which I shouldn't have been because it was illegal, but I was doing so.
Right.
And then that gave me the confidence, like, wow, you can really do this. And then so I started doing the acting and modeling on the side and partying here in LA.
Of course, look at the face. If you go to his website, MarcusPeterson.com, you'll see everything that he does. And, he's got the model's body, too, football player body.
So, on that, the website is www.mpdoinme.com.
Right. See, I'm taking over his agent's job, you see. That's what I'm doing for at least for 45 more minutes.
So with that, going into my junior year, I got more serious, and I thought, either I can do the modeling thing, acting thing, or I had to take it more serious. So I got into track because I wanted to, increase my speed.
Right.
So I did track, football, had a job, and taking 18 credits all at once. It was the worst spring semester in life.
No social life.
You always squeeze in your social
Oh,
life. I'm a rock star at birth. So that came with it.
All right.
So I don't know how
we'll just end it right there. Let the imagination kind of be the rule of the day.
I had to figure it out, but I knew after that, and I passed all my classes. Had my job, played both sports. Then I have practice at 6 a.m.
right
for football, and then study hall. And I have class all day, and then go back to have track practice at 3:30 or 4 p.m. and have to wake up again at 6 a.m. Like my body was dead the whole.
You see, this is a great example of a young man who's made the commitment to things that he wants to accomplish and put the time and the work in, and had the discipline to continue with it. Because we're still talking about his career here. He's gone on to play pro ball, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that here. But if you're a young student out there, a young athlete, student athlete, or you're a parent, you got youngsters, this is what the kind of dedication that you have to have in anything that you really do. But you have to be able to concentrate and have the discipline to continue on with that when everybody else decides they want to quit, they want to stop, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. It's the one that really prevails, the one that wins. Exactly. It's not so much the biggest, fastest, tallest, strongest, smartest, best looking. It not necessarily is. It's the one that prevails and keeps on going and keeps on going and keeps on going no matter what. They keep on going. So either someone's going to open the door and say, okay, come in, let me see what you got, or at that point, you just wear them out. And that's the kind of attitude that you have to have.
Exactly. I think that it was taught maybe, but it wasn't really. It was more of a adaptation to life. Like you had to do it.
Right.
Like if you couldn't swim and somebody threw you in the pool, you kind of had to learn how to swim. So it's kind of how life has been for me. So you kind of adapt, and I just think I just have that hustlers adapt kind of attitude and persona about myself. So I really had a why too, to prove people wrong. I always have to. If people say you can't do it, then I got to do it.
Right.
So that's just me, just kind of not being rebellious, but just very.
Hey, I want to tell you something. You can't give me $100.
It works in some instances. Not all, but probably 70%. So that's the 30%.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks a lot. Well, you open the door. Jesse T's going to walk in. You know me already. You know me. I'm going to walk right in the door.
I don't blame you for that.
You set yourself up.
Yeah.
So after college, let's jump because we are on a little time constraint here. So
after college,
what takes place for you? How do you get to Europe to play ball?
Whew,
in the short story.
So I was a free agent, undrafted. Got interest and had to work out for Hugh Jackson at the time, which is with the Cleveland Browns and also the VP as well. They came down here to Orange County, which is not too far from the studio. That's when RG3 was heavily recruited and on as their starting quarterback, and also Josh Gordon was in the verge of being on their wide receiver core as well. So working out with RG3 and a couple other elite quarterbacks at that time. Last summer off season, he really took interest in me in my route running and getting out of my breaks and catching and things of what a wide receiver has to have.
When you work with a quality quarterback like that either plays in the NFL or is on an NFL team, maybe backing up right now, is there a difference between that kind of quarterback and the best quarterback you ever played with up to that point?
Yeah. So
what is the difference? I mean, tell us. I mean, does the ball spin differently? I mean, are they smarter? Do they place it? What is it?
Well, see, I've worked with a multitude of NFL quarterbacks, but I remember working with them in the offseason and then going back to college.
Mm-hmm.
It was way different.
Interesting.
The terminology was different. The speed. It was just like, oh, wow, it's a step back. So when I remember going to fall camp, it was like, okay, well, I got to adjust to making shorter routes, getting out of my breaks, but the ball's not really there yet because it's still,
That's the thing.
So it was weird. I remember the first 4 days of camp, it wasn't click. I did really good, but it was just not clicking because I was looking for the ball to be right there. I was looking for defenders to be
right on you.
Right on. But it was more of an advantage, but that helped me out.
Right.
But like I said, you really have to turn your head. And it's so crazy because it's like a science. You really have to take 3 steps. Because if you take 3.5 steps, you're going to mess up the whole mechanics.
Right.
You have to go 18 yards, not 17.5 or 18.5. It's just...
So there's a lot of smarts and thought in it. It's just not running out there and boom, 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 and
no.
Right.
It's really angles. It's really measurements. It's how you take your stem, how you at a 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle, or it's really that's where that math that confused me in high school, middle school confused me. That's how you put it on the field.
Right. That's so now you get over to Europe.
I was at my kitchen table eating my Frosted Flakes. I eat that every night.
Frosty Flakes. Guy.
I got
I like Frosty Flakes.
Email and
I was kind of like Captain Crunch.
That's okay.
Rice Krispies are good too.
Yeah, got to put sugar.
Got to have a banana in it too. Got to get that potassium in.
Yeah.
Frosty Flakes are good though. The big ones, the big Frosty Flakes, not the little skinny ones.
No. That's
the ones that kind of like the white powder,
exactly.
Like the sugar. Yeah, and some
unhealthy ones.
Yeah, and you don't put a lot of milk because you want the crunch.
Yeah,
because if you put it, they get soggy.
Yeah, they
like
do.
Wheaties. But that's why I used to like something called Fruit of Loops.
I've had that.
Yeah, because they are different tastes. Fruit Loops, right? And there's another one that I used to like. Oh, Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's really good.
Yeah, Honey Nut Cheerios are really good.
They had honeycombs too.
Honeycombs, yeah, the real stuff, not the stuff you get from the
generic.
The generic stuff. Yeah. It's not the same.
No
matter what they try to do. Right.
You get what you pay for.
Right.
But anyways, I was sitting at my kitchen
table.
table.
We had this conversation about cereal. It's important.
And I got an email and a message from a coach in Europe saying, "Hey, I've seen your film. We like you. This, that." It didn't even register that football was outside of Canada or America.
Yeah, why would it?
So I thought it was like spam. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't take any idea to it. Then I kept getting messages, and I'm like, okay, let me just let me step out on faith, see what this is. So we have conversations back and forth for about a couple of days, and waiting on the Browns for camp, I didn't like a lot of my athletic friends are way older than I am.
Right.
So I learned from, so if you touch a pot and you get burned, I'm not going to touch the pot.
Right.
So it's really, I didn't want to stay home and, just try to wait on a phone call or things of that nature. So I wanted to
be proactive.
And I got the opportunity. I went because I was able to, they offered so I can get my MBA.
Which you've got now.
Correct. Right, I graduate next month. So I said, you know what? I prayed about it and I thought about it and I said, this is probably, at age 24, this is probably the best decision because I've never been to England.
Yeah.
Never. I've been to Europe. I've never been or lived in England.
Well, England's not Europe. England's England. It's the Brittany Islands.
Yeah, so, I mean,
people perceive it as Europe, but they don't see themselves as Europeans.
Yeah. Brexit didn't pass yet.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. What else? I didn't want to stay home. That was key. Right. I wanted to get some current film, my MBA as well. It was a good experience. I thought, I would take it out and check it out and go for it.
So what's it like being an American football player in England? That's got to be a blast.
Great, because they look at you as, I wouldn't say superior, but more advanced, more knowledgeable.
It's not football. It's football. Because football, of course, is
so I had to correct
soccer.
myself. I remember. So it's American football.
Right. Is that how they say it?
Yeah, American football. Because they would
predecessor.
really check you and then let you know that that's not football.
Right.
They didn't understand. They didn't understand why you say football when
It's
you don't
not
kick
football.
it. Yeah.
Right.
So American football.
Okay.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
The first month was really hard trying to adapt to not only the currency, never being there, having somewhere to live, just
Right.
kind of going by myself to a whole nother country.
Yeah.
But I like always being the new person.
Mm-hmm.
As being an only child, that was the
No,
best thing.
I totally get it, man. You're talking to a brother in arms here, man. Everything you're saying about that, I totally can appreciate.
I was really excited about having a new profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and it got better. And I was in Pittsburgh playing football, so I was used to the cold. So that didn't shock
It's
me.
cold in England. People
It's
don't. It doesn't
cold.
snow much, but
No,
it's cold.
It's cold, but it didn't snow. Like Pittsburgh was by far the coldest.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because I played in Scotland as well twice. And that was
Scotland's
freezing.
cold too. It's wet. Awful wet. Yeah.
But it was a great experience. I was able to do a multitude of things.
And you
not just play
played
football.
you played against huge crowds.
Yes.
I mean, they filled out their
That's
soccer
where I
stadiums.
was shocked. I was shocked because not knowing that football was outside of America or
Uh-huh.
Canada, and to have that support, and they have those games at the Wembley, and it's like 60,000 always sold out,
Always.
and it was so shocking because I had no idea.
Now, are the crowds? Do they cheer differently? Do they react differently?
No, what's crazy is like
Because like in soccer, they all have these chants. Every club team, because it goes back 100 years or even longer, they have these chants, and they all they have the crowd kind of is a cheerleading squad in a lot of ways. Do they have those types of things?
so
for
no,
American football?
it's the same. Like you'll have
Mm-hmm.
little British children yelling, "Go Odell!" Or it was just mind blowing because I didn't know
Right.
that it even got to that point.
Right.
But it's the same. They cheer. They know touchdown. It's the same basically. But it was really really interesting to see.
Yeah,
on
of
some
course,
we played on
there's
rugby.
there's some great English girls too that would follow the team. I'm sure.
Yes, I
Oh yes.
took a kin to really liking the
Yes. You like that very English accent.
and the French.
Oh, the French girls.
French women,
Oh
yeah.
boy.
But
Oh,
that's
boy.
what was different too, like the whole diversity of, because here you have black, white, Hispanic, Korean,
Yeah, this hemisphere for the most part.
exactly. But going out there, it was a whole
Yeah.
different ball game, and it was
Yeah.
so interesting and so lovely how the creation is different. It's just the
Right.
people are different, the language, the religion.
Right.
It was all mind-boggling.
Yeah,
I
you go
enjoyed it.
3-4 hours. Well, you go 300, 400, 500 miles in any direction when you're on the mainland, and you're in a different country.
and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
I was able to travel a lot too when I was out there.
Nice.
So, but with that being said, I had a good season, a really good season. I had how many touchdowns? I think 15 touchdowns,
Mm-hmm.
71 receptions, and 1,004 yards. I concluded my season.
That's a good year. Saying hi to Massima Sakura, Dean Olson. Thanks a lot, Dean. Rafael Ramirez, Deshaun McMillan. Also saying hi to some my keyboard here. That's right, not now. That's right. And put that down like that because my fat fingers get in the way here. John Pavlenko, Izzy Kla, Harry Budd, Max Millions, great director there, writer of films. Harry Bud Nelson, Dell Bird. Hey, we got something coming up with something I'm calling Dell's Corner, and we're going to be debuting that in a couple of weeks. Dell and I are going to go like point counterpoint against each other, and I'm trying to encourage Lee Baby Michaels to team up with Dell, and we're going to have they're going to pick on me, and so we're going to have like a fight here in the studio. Yes, of course. Bobby Bowden? What's that? Get out of here. That's not the Bobby Bowden. Edmund Droulet, great director. David Ross, terrific artist, music artist. Thanks a lot, guys, for having us on. So continue on. So now you're in Europe. You're playing ball, And
Welcome, guys.
Absolutely. And so you're in Europe, you're playing ball, enjoying everything, and you get in your MBA. And now what makes you decide, well, I'm just going to stay here a while, now I'm going to go home?
Well, first and foremost,
Because I imagine they still want you.
yes. So first and foremost, it was very hard because adapting to a whole nother country by myself. I went by myself. There's about 5 other Americans as well,
Right.
from different states in the United States. But having to get my MBA, that was no joke. It was nothing like undergrad. It was very straightforward. So much research, so much reading. It was level 7 CMI program. It was really hard.
But you
honestly.
slammed it all in 1 year.
In 1 year to
Yeah,
play.
most cats take 2-3 years to get their
Yeah.
MBA. SC, their MBA program is
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you impose that torture on yourself.
I didn't sleep. Man, it was like I said, but I've always developed that stick to itness and that hard work, and I learned time management. And as I was getting older, I had to unlearn things that I've learned when I was a child,
Right.
or in high school that was different. And I knew going into it right before I left. I told my parents, I said, it's going to be something there that takes me to that next level. Something that from this experience, I don't know if it will be opportunities, just something in life that will change my life for the better.
Well, there's always, wherever you go someplace new and you're networking, for better sake of using another word, when you go someplace new, there's always at least one contact or one person that's there that you're meant to meet.
Yeah.
You're supposed to meet them there. And it's usually the one person that can take you somewhere where you haven't been before in terms of what you're trying to accomplish in that career aspect. And all the rest of the people you meet are, going to take you nowhere. They're just kind of waste of time. But there's always one, maybe two, everywhere you go. If you can find somebody, and they'll just come to you. You just have to have the ears and eyes open to
You
be
just
able to
align.
see it.
The universe brings you to align.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be there for some reason. You don't go there just to go there. You go there because you're supposed to be there.
I was definitely there for a reason.
For a reason, and you met people that can take you where you want to go to the next step. And that's what I tell my son all the time and my daughter. When you go somewhere, there's always a reason for you being there, and there's always somebody that you're going to meet that you don't know, and you don't even know who that person is. But there's somebody.
And I was able to meet people and do things and have experiences that I never even dreamed of.
Right.
Which was still an experience in itself.
Right. Absolutely. So now you decide to come back home. So
Yeah,
what's
so
happening now?
I decided to come back home because I was getting more interest because I was doing so good. So I got interest from Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right.
And also, well, I didn't know at the time, but as I got home from Jacksonville, I went from London, Jacksonville, and then here, Los Angeles, because I was born and raised here.
Right.
And I could have stayed, but I could have stayed until about September, but I knew that something was going to prevail for me, and I wanted to get home and train with
Right.
my trainer as well. So I'm glad I did that at the perfect timing. And I wanted to stay longer because I was doing my dissertation at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so I need to stay focused, like 100 pages,
Yeah.
25,000 words. I just needed clear focus.
Right.
But I didn't want to miss out summer in Los Angeles.
Right.
Can't miss that.
That's when everything happens for your sport.
So I came back at the perfect timing. And right after Jacksonville, workout with Jacksonville, I was again with those quarterbacks. So I got interest from the Chargers. So my agent calls me. He's like at 8 a.m. He's like, hey, the Chargers are going to call you. They like, your film and things like that. Well, okay, cool. I'm thinking,
Right.
a month after camp. Because this was about 4 days before camp, probably.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, a week, a month, blah, 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 whatever. But I was in shape, thank God.
Right.
So, okay, cool, whatever. And then 5 minutes later, literally, so I'm back to sleep. 5 minutes later, I get a call from the Chargers, such and such. Hey, this is such and such from Los Angeles Chargers. Nice to meet you, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, wow, this is serious. Like, hey, we like your film, and we want to bring you in tomorrow. Like, oh, well, okay, perfect. So, like I said, I had to be in shape. There was no ifs, ands, or buts.
No,
where
you
were
stay
the
in
world.
shape.
Yeah.
When you're a professional athlete, you're in shape 24 hours a day, every day of the year.
Exactly.
You
It
don't
was-
get out of shape because you don't know when it's going to come.
Exactly. A lot of people ask me, why do you work out so much? Why are you always... And that, I know, you know now why.
Yeah, you have to be in shape because you never know.
It's a great organization, great head coach, great GM,
Yeah, and a new stadium they're building here in Los Angeles.
right here in home.
They're looking for new
Inglewood,
people,
California.
new everything.
Mm-hmm. So it was a great organization.
So you're gonna are they? You still talking with them right now?
Yes, I am,
Good.
and praying and hoping to get into. Well, it's not called spring camp. It's called like OTAs
Right.
or even the season. So I went twice, spoke with them. Great staff, great coaching staff.
No, I
great
can't
players.
wait till you're on the field and you run back a kickoff return, or you catch a great pass and you run down, and at the end of the game, I can go in the locker room and I can interview you. That would be great.
That's the dream. That is the dream. That is the dream, honestly. So
Yeah.
what I've been doing now is, like I said, I've been working on my dissertation for the MBA, and I just figured out 2 weeks ago that I passed and I graduated. Thank God.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you so much. I really appreciate it.
That in actuality is the most important thing, because that takes you to the end of your life. And if you have a successful athletic career and that continues on, nobody knows, because so many things can happen that affect that, good and bad. But you can take that MBA and you can prolong your career
Exactly.
by participating or creating a business or some sort of equipment or some sort of merchandise that participates in that career, a school for athletes or something like that. And it's great to have an MBA.
Exactly. And why I'm so proud of myself is because at my 12th grade in high school, because they don't have transferring, because they don't have high school in England.
No.
They call it
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
So I didn't even care about graduating high school. That's the funny part. And
Yeah.
to be able to graduate with my MBA, it's really a blessing. So I was so into sports and just living day by day.
Yeah,
School
come on,
didn't
man.
really
You're
matter to
16,
me, yeah.
17, 18 years old. What do you know? You don't know nothing. You know, and that's why that's one of the things that are lost in our society today is we don't look at elders or people that have been down the path a lot more than us, and we don't take their wisdom and heed their wisdom. It doesn't necessarily mean you do exactly what they say, but you listen to the wisdom that is there and incorporate it into your life. It's easier to be told how to walk around the lion than go down the road and walk right into the lion. You know, and that's one of the things that young people, as you grow older, you learn more and more and more that there are people that have been down this path before. Maybe you just should listen to a little bit of what they're saying.
And that's the crazy. My mom would always tell me stuff, and I'm like, nah. And then
Yeah.
a day later, or a year later, or a month later, oh, she was right.
Yeah, of course. Mama's always right.
Yeah.
Mama's always right. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, saying hi to Jason Mercado over at Sweet Mission Cookie Company. Thanks a lot, man. We do got to get in touch with each other because I want you to sponsor me, Jason. I got to eat those cookies.
Come on, Jason.
Come on, Jason. That's right. Absolutely. He's a good guy. Clark Tang, Sifu Wing Chun Sifu master. He teaches Wing Chun Sifu, Wing Chun Kung Fu, and he's one of my Kung Fu brothers. And so, hey, good to have you along, Clark. And we do get a lot of athletes and stuff that watch and listen to the show because we being an athlete, you really can talk and how to transcend your abilities into society and everyday life. And that's why I think about athletics. It's very good for young people.
Exactly.
So now you're back and you've got interest.
Now I'm
and
back.
That's happening. So bring me up to speed right now. You've got some film projects coming out, or you've got some entertainment projects coming out too, right?
What is it, October?
Yeah.
It's October 2017.
Mm-hmm.
What I am doing today is preparing for 2018, 2019, which I've been doing. The international connections that I've made, and also as I've been traveling around the world this whole year,
Right.
it's really been instrumental for me. So with that being said, I am currently working on 2 apps at the time. And I also started, and I kind of haven't said too much about this, I'll just keep it brief, but it'll be more prevalent in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Of a nonprofit organization, an international nonprofit organization dealing with, the mental mind and also education.
Nice.
That people I've been traveling with, or I'm fortunate enough to kind of help me deal with that. So I will come out and it'll be on my website and also on all the outlets and things like that. So I'm excited for that for 2018. So what I'm doing is now creating and preparing and building to now reach investors and the right people.
Right.
And timing is really key. So I'm excited for that. I've been really busy and under the radar for that.
Now, are these apps related to athleticism,
No.
or are they
So
related to
this-
entertainment, or
this-
is it education,
This
or spirituality, or what
this
are the
is
apps?
a form of entertainment.
Okay.
I found a niche in the market.
Well, don't say anything
I'm not
about
gonna
it.
say
you know.
anything about it.
I
but,
won't let you.
I'm excited. I've been doing a lot of my research. Of
Good.
course, you're doing my MBA, so you have to learn how
Right.
to do research. And I wanted to do my MBA because when I graduated, I didn't feel
Right.
like, so going into HR, I graduated in HR and marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to do that because just wasn't me.
You're not an office guy.
I'm not. I've always been fired from all the jobs.
Yeah,
I'm just not. A
Wait a
office
minute.
guy.
Wait a minute. Time out. I'm telling you, Lee. Only children, man. We all have the same course. I've worked at 43 radio stations in over 40 years. Okay, and I have been fired from every single one of them, with the exception of 2 or 3.
Stop bragging about that, okay? That's not good. That's really not good.
Well, what's so wrong with that?
Not good.
That's a large number.
And we don't want to hear the stories about why and how you were fired.
It wasn't my fault. It wasn't. They should have just made sure the doors were unlocked for me half the time.
Lord, here we go.
I think that's just a lonely child.
It's
thing.
an only child.
So I
thing.
figured out.
You don't
and
understand.
accepted the whole.
See, he
entrepreneurship.
understands. He understands me. Jesus, you want to get married? Oh God! Oh, sorry, I had a little break.
Parents always have at least 2 children.
Oh man. But yeah, I stepped into
right
the
on, man.
entrepreneurship
Absolutely.
and the business. So
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you worried about the concussion injuries in the NFL? Because you're a wide receiver, man. You guys take the craziest shots. Does
no.
that worry you at all?
No, because I don't live my life. Well, personally, I'm talking for self.
Right.
Now,
No, this
remember,
is
I'm talking
you.
for self.
Right.
I don't live in fear.
Right.
So I know what I'm getting myself into.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, knock on wood. I've never, had
You never had a concussion or anything.
or any type
Yeah.
of injuries. Knock on wood again.
Because there's a big backlash now into youth football and high school football about the concussion challenges that many NFL players have filed many lawsuits on, and that's a big thing with the NFL.
But the difference between middle school football and professional is the wealth of experience you gain of how to tackle properly, how to get down, how to just play the game of football.
Plus, they've also changed the rules on how you can tackle. Now, when I was playing ball, I played in high school. I won a scholarship. I was 250 at one time and playing NAI Division I school and got a full ride and tried out for the Canadian Football League and got cut and whatever and all that stuff. But it was a different football. Now, we're talking 1975 to 1983. So it was a completely different game in terms of the rules, how you could hit, what you could do in the line, what you could do outside, what the linebackers could do. Everything was different than it is today. So they've taken a lot of precautionary methods on re-evaluating the game and what you can and how to tackle. And the wide receivers and the quarterbacks have been kind of the target of protection for the NFL.
Yeah, and that's what I'm glad about that too. Like I remember when I was growing up, I see a lot of quarterbacks kind of just throw it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're throwing to kind of protect.
Mm-hmm.
So like just because someone's open for like half of a second, throw it. Quarterbacks are not doing that as much, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. So you feel relatively confident that that's not going to be a problem for you.
Yeah. Hoping and praying that is not. But I'm not. I don't live in fear, so I know what I'm getting myself into. I love the game of football. They have the equipment and the protection to protect you from that. It might look a certain way on TV,
Right.
or perceived a certain way, but all that it sounds and looks hard and
Right.
grimy, but the protection really does protect you. Now there are some instances where you can get hurt.
You just get,
and
you know.
just bad place at the wrong
I mean,
time.
you can't the free safeties. They can't hit you with their forearms coming in like they used to be able to,
or helmet to helmet.
or helmet to helmet. They can't take you out on top like they used to and crush guys in the middle. The Raiders used to do that all the time. One of the greatest, free safeties. The Bears used to do that. I mean, that's the way ball was played at that time. When my grandfather played ball, he played for the Pop Warner. Pop Warner was his coach. That's how far in the early part of the 20th century. They didn't have any pads. And my grandfather looked like this, you know, like a rugby player, right? And they just had the leather here, just leather. That's it, leather. That's it. And they didn't have any helmets. They just had a leather cap. And so you can imagine football with the Bears and the Army and all that stuff at that point. That was some serious different kind of ball.
Not a chance. I'd probably be playing something else.
I'd be playing Chase the Cheerleaders.
They should start that league.
Yeah.
You should start that league.
I think we got something. You got the MBA in marketing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it the Marcus Peterson Company, and I'm going to be the president, and you can have 51% of the company. Okay, I'll give that to you.
Perfect.
All right. I just only want maybe, yeah. Look at, man, I only want
We'll renegotiate.
25% of the company. That's all I want. Okay, and we're going to call it's Chase the Cheerleaders. On NBC tonight, it's Chase the Cheerleaders. Yeah, sounds pretty good, huh?
Sounds appealing. Texas is appealing.
I think Mama T would get really pissed off at me. I think I'd be chasing my own cheerleader between my legs.
That show would be followed by The Walking Dead Man.
It probably only lasts 2 episodes.
Yes, that's right. You talk about doing the hookah. Hey, man, what about rugby and the hookah, man? Don't you just love that?
So they say shisha.
Shisha.
So rugby, yeah, I've never really seen rugby.
Yeah.
But out there it was crazy.
These guys are huge, like football players, and they're just
It's like a bunch of linebackers running around.
yeah, and they can run.
They can run fat, like their lower body. Even their workouts are a little different. Like their weight room workouts,
Right.
because their legs are so huge and they're so
Huge.
fast because they got to get around.
All right.
But you talk about no protection.
Oh yeah.
But they think American football is what's the word? They think American football is more dangerous and violent than rugby is.
That's insane.
Yeah,
But
I
then
don't know
again,
how.
you know, the offensive line guys today are 300-400 pounds now, and I don't care if they only have to go 20 yards. 300 or 400 pounds coming at you is 300 or 400 pounds with the massive power and strength and speed, quickness.
and they're
that
getting
they
more
have.
slim now.
Yeah, they are.
The game's getting slim.
Yeah, it is. The pads are looking. Everything's getting slimmer. Fitness is becoming a thing in that respect. All right, so. Give me your website because we're coming to the end of the show.
Perfect. So my website is www.mpdoinme.com, which is mpdoinme.com. You can also look at my adventures on YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Marcus Peterson, MarcusPeterson. Also, I have an Instagram, which is Marcus T. Peterson.
Yeah.
Marcus T.
I'm telling you. See, man, he's a young version of Jesse T.
There it is.
See, I got another me, Jesse T. here. Except it's me, Marcus T.
So the Instagram is Marcus T. Peterson, and I look forward to meeting new people and following my experiences and my journey in life.
Can't wait to see those apps when you get that. Please come back and we want to really get that hype for you on those apps because apps is where the money's at, man.
Yeah,
There's an app for
technology.
everything.
Technology, medicine, investment, that's where it's really...
I needed an app on Saturday night because I was going to Big Bear for the Big Bear Beast on Sunday morning, the run. I was covering it for a couple of TV channels, and I got this horrible stomach ache going through the desert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I had, diuretic problems, and and I couldn't find a gas station that had that would allow me to use their
restroom.
the restrooms out in the middle of the desert, Lee. the middle of the desert, of the high desert, on the way to Big Bear. I couldn't find a gas station that would let me use their restroom. Okay? Right? And I found a gas station that would let me use their restroom, and they didn't have any toilet paper. So I did my deed on the toilet. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I did my deed on the toilet, right?
It's normally you check for toilet paper.
Well,
first.
I didn't do that. And I didn't even check the trash can. There was no trash can with used toilet paper. There was nothing. So I'm looking at my socks, right?
You should have kept driving.
No, I'm already sitting on the toilet, the canister, man. So, I needed an app for toilet paper to be delivered.
No.
Yes.
No, I think
we got something there.
No.
How many guys like that happens to?
you got to
You just got to carry it with you.
Yeah. Or you could have purchased it before.
Yeah.
Or check before you sit on the toilet.
Yeah.
You didn't put the
You think I'm going to carry the toilet? They didn't have any of those cover seats I could wipe my butt with. Do you think they had? You know why we shake with the right hand?
Why is this?
Because out of Europe, people used to wipe their butt with their left hand. That's how they were taught to wipe their butt. The Romans, all the way back to Romans' time. So the right hand was clean, the left hand was dirty. That's where it came from.
That's TMI.
I just, you never know what you're going to learn from me.
So I'm just not going to shake anyone's left hand.
No left hand shaking. It's always right hand. So, if you got a guy, you find a guy with no arms, then you shake legs. I know there's some sense in there somewhere.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, I learned how to chase away viewers and listeners. All right, give that website again as we check out.
Yeah, so it is Marcus. So, www.mpdoingme.com.
Hey, this is a young man who's on his way to the NFL. We're going to see him. What's your number? What's your favorite number?
7 is my favorite number.
7's heaven, baby. That's right. Throw that 7. You walk out with a mean green fighting machine. That's what it's all about. And so we're going to see you in the NFL, Marcus Peterson. Guy, I can't wait to get that app. Congratulations on your MBA. Anybody who does an
Thank
MBA,
you so much.
I mean, that's one of the best things you could do. And we appreciate you checking in. Hey, guys, tomorrow, Wound Up is Wednesday, but tomorrow, Jacob Bressler's coming in, a Krav Maga master. And we're going to roll around right here. I'm going to do some Wing Chun. He's going to do some Krav Maga. So we're going to kind of show off. Yeah, that's right. Wonder who's going to get the best of that.
We got to find out.
Getting kind of scared. Will you be here with me?
I can be.
Yeah.
I'll be in the back.
Cost me $25. That's right. Hey, thanks a lot, Marcus. We're checking in on the Jesse T Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
The world according to Torero. You're straight on the point. Watch out for this young man. He's up and going. Yo, baby, see ya. Boom, Brown Beauty's off duty.